What is going on, everybody? We are working on Deep Madness again. We're going to knock out these two heroes. We're going to speed paint them. It's going to be good times. Let me get these gloves on and we'll get started. We got Meredith. And Regan. So apparently they're sisters. So that's cool. We'll be getting started here. Maybe some people will join the chat. If you're watching this in the future on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to join in. A lot of times we're doing these streams late. One of these days, we'll be doing them much earlier. Just maybe get some more people in the chat. Could be cool. And we got the wet palette here. And I will be using a lot of contrast paint, probably. I think that's the plan. Sorry, I reused my gloves, so it takes a second to put them on, but. All right, there we go. Let's go with. We're going to start with her. She looks like she kind of has like a mint, kind of a minty blue and white outfit. And this one kind of has a, I don't know, almost kind of a gray scale. So we'll get the first two colors that I think will be useful. And we're going to go with these, Aethermatic Blue and Gryph-Charger Gray. Just in case we need a water cup, we're going to put some water there. So these are the two we're working on. Now I don't do them, I don't even try to do them like box art, but what I do try is that they're noticeable enough that if you were playing the character during the board game, you would easily identify it. So we're going to just start with this contrast Aethermatic Blue. This one does not have good coverage. It's really pretty subtle. Trying to determine if her looks like she's got quite a bit of a mold line, but looks like her boots maybe go all the way up to here. And then she has knee pads. So really we just got to get the thighs. Actually, it looks like this kind of dress she's wearing covers most of this, so. We'll just start off with this here. This one has like maybe the worst coverage out of all the contrast paints I've used besides the white. Apothecary White is obviously maybe the least coverage. But this one does not work well over the Zenithal Prime. It's probably only good over pure white. And it looks like her hair actually might have some undertones. Maybe we can put the card up in the back here. I don't want to get paint on it though, but and we're just going to put it on her hair, but we'll probably cover that up with more washes and stuff. But it's an okay kind of base. It looks like her hair does have kind of a teal undertone. We'll probably end up hitting it with like a Coelia green shade. And I think we're going to call that good on her. If you're following along at home, we got an owl bear we'll probably be doing this week. I have another video where I painted one of these in about an hour, hour and a half. We'll be doing that again. Another stream we did this character here. Just a cool paladin guy. We're going to sell him on eBay. All right, we're going with Gryph-Charger Gray. And this pretty much is going to cover her. If you look at her, she looks like she's pretty gray. I think we can block in like her robe and her pants, and then maybe her shirt even with this. It's weird. The model looks like it has hair under the robe, but the box art looks just like bald or something. We'll get the pants too. With contrast paint, you can just slop it around. As long as you plan on going back later and highlighting, you can clean up stuff in the highlight step. She has kind of a white shirt. Which we'll figure out in a second how we're going to handle that. And we'll probably be going for about an hour and a half maybe tonight. We'll see what we get done. I think I can likely finish these two and then maybe work on something else even. This is just for a board game, so it's not, I'm not trying to get a good price for selling it. I'm not trying to win an award. I'm just trying to make a good looking board game model. All right, so we kind of blocked in her with the Gryph-Charger Gray. And I think we might actually use this Gryph-Charger Gray to get this lady's white outfit. Hopefully it's not too close to the blue that we used just a second ago. And they're kind of blending together a little bit, but that's okay. So that's just because we're not waiting for it to dry. But all this the only goal here is that it's interesting and looks cool on the table and roughly is identifiable as the character. That way, if somebody wants to play the character, they can, spot it while they're playing. Board game miniatures are always fun to paint because you can try different colors and stuff that you maybe wouldn't normally do. And we're going to jump over to, I think, Guilliman Flesh. Yeah, we're going to go Guilliman flesh on them. It's right here. We're using a size 6 ghost brush. This one's been in service to me for maybe a year. It's quite a while. You know, they get beat up a little bit, but if you take care of them, they'll last a long time and still be very useful for a long time. Kind of funny with the Gryph-Charger gray, the Aethermatic blue, and now the Guilliman flesh. It's like we couldn't pick more transparent contrast paint colors. And this one's mixing a little bit with the blue. We don't really want that in this case, but we're just gonna ignore it and move on. You know, if it happens, it happens. It's fine. This is about finishing up some models for your board game, playing with your friends, making them look pretty cool so it's fun to play. You know, I think if you have a nice painted game, makes it a little more fun. If you ever played Gloomhaven, you know, there's only the heroes you got to paint, but it's a little more fun when you're playing with the painted heroes. Right, so they're looking okay. I think what we're going to do is take a touch of black, dip it in some water, and make our own. You can see that's beating up. It's barely even registering as paint. We're going to test that, see if that's enough. Yeah, that's not bad. It's just water and some black paint. Try to put the shadowy gray onto her white shirt. And I think we'll continue with that on her white dress. And now this is going to mix a little bit with any of that flesh tone, Guilliman's flesh we got on. That's okay. It's kind of like an underpainting, but at the same time, it's going to keep getting refined. And at some point, it'll dry enough and we'll catch up. Yeah, we probably let that get a little darker than maybe my original intention. Yeah, if you guys want to join in the chat, feel free. I'm sitting here with no music on or nothing, so totally happy to chit chat if you have any questions. We're going to go Coelia Green Shade. This is going to be on her hair. It's still a little wet. We're probably going to have to set her down. She's got quite a bit of different colors floating around on her right now, all wet, all ready to bleed into each other. And we might use a little bit of this on the inside of her thighs. Kind of create the shadow on her legs there. Maybe on the back part of this leg. Yeah. So that's cool. Pro tip. I don't know if it's pro, but Coelia Green Shade is a good color to shadow in, add shadows to your Aethermatic Blue contrast paint. I'm going to get some white on the palette. What we're going to do, use a little bit of this white with Bugman's Glow. Maybe a lot of this white with Bugman's Glow over here on the wet palette. Just mix it in. If it picks up any other paint, I don't care. Creating just a light flesh tone, size 6 brush. And giving her a little bit of a highlight. I don't think the Guilliman's flesh was enough for her skin. So painting in this highlight is better. And actually, maybe even go back and put that wash on again. We'll go back to her and use the same highlight color on her chest. Her face. This is both a highlight plus a way to clean up. Like, it's probably hard to tell, but the side of her face is pretty blue. So we can use this, which actually is not terrible because maybe this thing she's holding is glowing or something, but we're not even going to bother with that. So we're going to use this highlight to clean it up. Get her chin. Get her hand. Nothing too crazy. A lot of this highlighting, I'm doing a tapping. You can see I'm highlighting like this. And that almost gives it like a feathered or layered effect without having to do all that. It's quick. So maybe you can see right here on her arm. Let me see which. I don't know where the ideal focus would be, but tap, 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 tap. There we go. Cool. Got to go back to Griff Charger Gray because somehow we missed this whole side of her. Kind of a fail there. I missed the whole side of her cloak. And since we got it out, we'll put a second coat on the inside of the cloak here to start darkening that in. I think we can actually highlight her white shirt right now too. We're going to take white and maybe some somber gray from Vallejo. You can kind of see it in the corner of the screen there. Not bright enough. Mostly white with a touch of somber gray is probably the way to do it. There we go. And that kind of highlights her shirt. We'll use this same mix on this girl's outfit. And apparently these models are like sisters. According to their card, they look like they have the same last name. I mean, that highlight's a little sloppy in there, but that's okay. But what I was going to say is, and them being possibly sisters, they're also from the same expansion for the board game. So them kind of matching, like her dress being highlighted the same way as her shirt, makes them look unified. Now, I don't know if you play them or you have to play them together or anything like that, but if people do decide they want to play them together, they will look like they know each other or match, I guess. Just a little quick, rough kind of highlight on her outfit. And I think I'm going to add more white. Should probably go to a smaller brush for this, but I'm not gonna. I got old palette paper on my palette here, so there's lots of little strings and stuff that the paintbrush picks up. Just always a hassle, but and right now we're just highlighting just the top part again. Top of her chest and shoulders, and then maybe the top of her butt. Cool. And we'll get top of some of her folds on her shirt. Cool. Next up, I think we need to maybe do these boots. Oh no. These boots are not in the artwork on the card, so we're just going to choose our own adventure. Oh, I haven't put the wash on him yet, but he's done. Just needs like I'm going to put a black wash on him with the Death Shroud Clear. But he's kind of I guess maybe the main monster in this expansion. We're going to go with, not Skeleton Horde. We'll go Gore-Grunt of Fur for the boots and shoes. Actually, she looks like she has white knee pads, and then maybe. Oh, you know what? She looks like she actually has blue. Now that I do see on the back here, you can see kind of her feet tucked in the back. So she's going to get blue. But this one, we'll just do Gore-Grunt of Fur, brown shoes. While we have the Gore-Grunt of Fur out, I think I'll probably go ahead and put it on any of the belts. Oh, she's got full-on boots too. So we got to bring this all the way up. Sometimes when you're painting board game miniatures, the details are a little soft. It's one thing with GW's miniatures, especially nowadays, really pretty well-defined, crisp detail. Whereas these ones you might have to guess, like, is that a pouch or a belt buckle or, that kind of thing. There we go. She's kind of got two belts. Although this one's mostly a belt buckle. And it looks like this doesn't quite... Yeah, it doesn't really go all the way around. Might... Yeah, I think that's belt buckle back there. No, it looks like it's just one last strip. All right, so there she is. This one, let's go back and fix her boots. Not fix, but continue on, I guess. She looks like she's supposed to have this kind of blue legging all the way down. Okay, now once I actually put the wash on too, I can see where the separation is for like a shoe. So because of that, we'll make her shoes brown with the Gore-Grunt of Fur again. Just like the other one. See, I really like the contrast paints for just blocking in this stuff. I'm gonna go back to Gryph-Charger Gray and hit her knee pads. And use it one more coat to darken her belt kind of thing. Kind of like a, is that Cumberbot belt? All right. She appears to have some kind of crown. This girl has yellow trim. Now I think we'll go back to making just a black wash, touch of black, a little bit of water. And I'm just going to use this to get the bottom of her knee pads, like the bottom half. Go back to my Coelia green shade. And we're going to use this to just shade near the bottom of her leggings. And we'll put some right in the crease of her leg here to really darken up that, give it some more definition. And we'll use it even just to line the knee pad. And I think we'll use it right under her chest on the sides, because it's mostly gray there and it's got to be blue. But I was a little sloppy with my first layers, so darken that in more. We're going to leave her hair, I think, just as is and highlight her outfit. So even though it's kind of the same exact contrast aromatic or aromatic blue and Coelia green shade, when we highlight her outfit a different color, it'll separate it a bit. This girl's jacket needs to get darker. So maybe we'll go dark tone from Army Painter. And just in case it doesn't get too dark, I'll make sure my brush is wet when I put it in. And we'll start in the, so this is a good way to test your wash. If it's too dark, it'll at least work really well for the shadow in here between her legs. So that's why I'll start it. And that looks good for the shadow. We'll use it along the sides here for the separation of details. use it on along the edge of her white shirt. The black line or dark gray line, it's not really going to be drying black, but having that line up against the shirt and jacket now will help the shirt pop. Then we'll put it on the inside of her arms. So yeah, we'll actually use this strategically. We'll fill in her hood area. Basically, we're just tracing her contoured details with dark tone and then putting it like on the inside of the arm, in the armpit. And that's going to help, under the hood where it kind of creases. That's going to help increase the shadow effect, which then means that her lighter effects look more like highlights. And we'll put it just near the bottom. Maybe, we can follow it up any like really deep creases. But what we're going to kind of do is just darken the bottom. And just darkening the bottom of her outfit is going to help potentially just make the viewer a little less interested in the bottom and look more towards the top. Also gives her a little bit of a weathering kind of effect. And we'll use this where the skin meets too with her hands. I think that would be good. And why not, we'll put it where the belt overlaps here. That's good. We'll fill in that crease there. There we go. Maybe get these ones on the side of her hood and back of her hood a little bit. Just trying to create more interesting shadow on her outfit. I mean, she's basically done. If we just picked out the metallics, she'd be good to go, really. This one needs a little bit of highlight on her knee pads. And I think we'll go a little whiter again. She's supposed to be wearing like a white dress. So let's see if we can't kick it up even more. Yeah, I mean, they're both looking more or less pretty good for a quick little speed paint. Now I'm looking for kind of a teal blue color. I think we're going to go with Sotek green. And we'll just put a little bit right over here on the palette and start mixing in white. And give her little highlights on her pants. And down her legs. It's going to be I'm going to darken it with a little bit of just miscellaneous blues that are still on the palette. Just so I can give a little bit of highlight on the sides. Let me use a little bit of those dark tone to darken her leg back there. Now, what we don't do or don't need to do is highlight her hair. Somebody's stomping around above me in the apartment complex. Don't know if you can hear that. And we'll put one more highlight on her. All right. Cool. Now to further add interest to her boots, we're going to hit them both with Agrax gloss. This is to stain the boot, but mostly kind of panel line it. So there, you've seen it here. We're using a wash to wash a wash, basically. We're washing Gore-Grunta fur with Agrax gloss. Looks like we got a little weird spot showing there, so I'm just grabbing any kind of brown paint to cover that up a little bit. And we'll go ahead and hit her belt. Yeah, that adds a lot of depth to the kind of leathers. She'll get the same on her little boots. Perfect. I think that's good. Now for the first time, we're going to switch to a smaller brush. I think we'll go to the size 1 ghost brush. I'm going to mix a little bit of this white up here with this flesh tone. I want this to be quite a decent step because I don't want to have to do this again. want this to be the last highlight. Focusing on the nose, chin, chest, hands. Very tops of her skin. Cool. Gives it kind of that dynamic look too of just having a kind of quite a stark jump to the highlight. Which wouldn't work great on a larger scale model. But on a little tiny board game model, it works pretty good. Because then you can see your character from across the table looking back at you. So that's good. I think we will try and do the yellow. Maybe with Indian yellow ink. Hold on tight. This could be a mistake. I don't know what the coverage of this is going to be like. That's pretty good. It's visible, but transparent enough that it's not super noticeable, I guess. Certainly not noticeable on camera, it doesn't appear. But that's good. That way, too, if we didn't like it, it would have been easy to cover up. There we go. Got our little yellow trim on. Now I think we go, let's go like steel. Oops. We're going to get our little knife. Probably should actually go, well, I dropped it right in the dark tone bottle cap, but wouldn't it be a terrible idea to actually go with just a lighter silver and hit it with a Nuln Oil and just be done? But we'll do the steel and just show you maybe a different way to do it. I mean, her little knife she's holding is very tiny, low quality detail. And she's got like some bracelets. We're gonna base coat all the metals the same, and then we'll just separate them by highlight or wash or whatever. It's an easy way to do it. Trying not to mess up here. But if I do, one advantage of the wet palette is all the paints I've been using are still sitting right there. And I can go back over and use a highlight color to fix it. Oh, and she's got that little crown on her head. If I had went with a brighter silver, I could just wash this with different colors to create like gold or Nuln Oil for the silver parts. You wash it with like a yellow to make like a gold effect. And that would have been a little faster. And basically they'd be done. They're basically done already. Not too bad for a little under an hour. Yeah, I haven't played the game, so I don't know what all this stuff is on these models. I'll get a chance to play after the quarantine. But a lot of them do have like blue glowing trinkets on them. Can't remember 100% if I painted the blue glowing trinkets on the original set heroes. I assume you're looking for those as you unlock the mysteries of the Deep Madness. Maybe your relic hunters or something. That's cool. She's supposed to have, or not necessarily supposed to, but she has some kind of blue glowing thing. So we'll just put some blue on there. That's fine. Oh, looks like a little more on her thing here. It's probably still wet with silver, but there we go. Put the blue right on. I think my focus is a little weak this time around. Unfortunately, I'll have to figure out a way to be able to adjust it. There we go. And now I think I'll take some kind of gold paint. Let's try Elven Gold from Scale 75. I haven't even opened it yet. Well, that's a pretty nice one. I think that might be the color of my Swooping Hawks. That's why I bought it. And it looks like it's going to be good. And we're just going to hit her bracelets. They were silver. Now they're gold. Oh, sorry. There we go. Got our bracelets. Maybe the little hilt of this little dagger thing is gold too. And we got a little bit of a mistake that we're going to go back to the steel. Clean that up just a touch. Since we're here, maybe we'll go almost pure white. Basically outline her shirt. Just because she's getting a little gray. And yeah, I think that's about it. I think we... Oh, let's see if we can mess it up real quick. Try to get this little white highlight. Just give it a little separation there. And we'll do the same for her shirt. All the way up to pure white. Cool. Done. We're going to call them done. 1 hour exactly. Perfect. 2 miniatures done in one night, start to finish. I'll take it. We're going to go on to putting some black on their base. Actually, we might, just in case, I'm going to let them dry for a second because I have to hold them for painting the base black. And I want to make sure all that wash and stuff is dry. So we're going to go over to Death Shroud Clear. And we're going to wash the big guy. all over. Gonna give them an all over total body wash. This Death Shroud Clear is really great. Gives them a protective coat panel. It's basically like an old dip method. Darkens all the recesses. Doesn't stain too much on the flat surfaces. Not like Nuln Oil where it heavily stains it. This is different. It's got a gloss finish, so you definitely want to end up matte coating or varnishing your miniatures if you use this over them. But man, I've said it so many times and I never get tired of it. It's so good. Especially just for putting in all that shadow, and then you could go back in and work more. Now these are board game miniatures, so this is their last step they're getting, but this could just be the halfway point. You could go back and then really start putting all your highlights on, really creating a big separation between light and darks, making your shadows look like really dark shadows with this method. That way your highlights pop even more. And you're probably familiar with Nuln Oil. This is doing a lot of the same thing, but just not as much staining. It's almost like a slight tint or filter being applied to the model. I'm just using a beat up GW wash brush for this because I'm trying to get a lot of this wash on and not worry too much about damaging my brush, because this brush is already all crooked and beat up. That's the joy of having an old, big, soft brush. It's a good wash brush. If you're using the Ghost Brush line, the size 6 will become your wash brush eventually. I recommend just using it as a normal paintbrush while the tip is still nice and sharp, because you can still do a lot of good detail work. I mean, I basically painted those two girls with the size 6. But, the day that tip is a little too worn down from months or years of use, it'll make a good wash brush at that point, with still enough of the tip to, control your wash and direct it. I'm not using it like a big mop brush. Although it probably wouldn't be a terrible idea for this if I just mopped it on and then wiped away the raised areas. And I'm trying to make sure I get, hopefully you can see that, but now those pustules or whatever, they got all that shadow around them. You can see that effect really nice. That's just Death Shroud Clear. It's really good for this. I really like it for board games too, because I'm just trying to darken in all this recess area without too much effort. Get the model done. Let's play. But if you're not you could do this to your Warhammer armies and stuff too. If you're just trying to get them painted and looking good on the table. I mean, I think I did this guy in about an hour or so last night, maybe a little longer. Well, I was working on a bunch of stuff last night. I think I did like 7 models in like 2 hours last night. But the other ones are really simple, and I don't think they came out overly good. But, well, here we are. About the end of the stream. We didn't get much action in the chat tonight. And by much action, I mean I've been talking to myself for an hour. So I'll probably shut down the stream and get a little bit of painting done with some music or something playing. Not music. Sometimes I always say like, oh, I'll put some music on, but I never do. Put on a documentary or something. That's way more likely for me. All right, there we go. He's looking good. Maybe use this brush to pull away any pooling I don't necessarily like. Okay, we'll call him done. Now all of this is wet, so it's glossy, but when that's dry and I hit it with a matte coat, it's going to leave these nice dark shadows. It's going to look really great. And those girls might actually get hit with the Death Shroud Clear as well. I'll have to check. I don't really remember if all the board game models have the Death Shroud Clear for, this is for Deep Madness. I don't remember if I did it for all of them. Or some of them only. I don't know. Just have to give that a check just so I have some kind of universal consistency, at least with the heroes. And we're just going black. Man, probably right out of the pot. This P3 black is like my go-to rim of base black. It's thin enough that you can go straight from the pot. It's got one coat coverage. Unless you thin it down, then you might have to do two. I'm trying to thin it down kind of in the lip of the lid there. I don't mind having to do two. I hadn't decided on any actual basing techniques for these guys for the board game, which would have been smart to do before any of them were painted or primed. Put that texture down. But the ones I have done, I've just been doing them black, so that's probably likely what they'll be, just black. I mean, that's what they are now for all the ones I've done. And it's about 70 or so models. So if I decide I want to base them, at this point, it'll be about almost, by the time I decide that, it'll be 90 models probably. So I could see me just not doing that. Because who wants to go back and base 90 models? Cool, we're done on that. Oh, I think I just touched it. Oh, God. We'll let them dry up, and that's it for this one. 2 models, start to finish, completely done for the board game Deep Madness. And I gotta say, they look pretty cool. Nothing too crazy. Obviously, you saw the whole process. Nothing special happened. But I think they came out pretty good. And like I said before, It's just a board game. You can see there on camera, her especially, I think she pops really good. Like, your view on the camera would be about what it would be like looking down on a table with the board game. So she's popping. This one kind of blown out by the camera light, but she looks all right too. Stabbing herself in the eye. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully leave some comments below. Let me know. We'll do the bear soon. Hopefully we'll start him a little earlier so maybe we can get some people in the stream watching. And we'll have a good time. So talk to you possibly tomorrow. Please subscribe.